Audio check, 1, 2, 3, audio check. Test, test, test. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are here for the 10th round of the GT4 Championship here on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. We're at Imola for this one, a track we've been to a couple of times throughout the course of this season here at Motive, and well, on ACC, just solely on ACC, we've been here twice in the Porsche Super Cup and in the GT3s more recently, and both of those have served up to be absolute thrillers. So we're hoping that tonight will be a similar story here for the GT4s. Got 13 cars out on the track at the moment. I don't know if we're expecting anyone else. A few drivers missing for this week, which is a shame, but nonetheless, I'm sure that we're going to see some exciting action from the guys who have turned up. And currently, we saw in the practice session a little bit earlier on, Freeman looked like he had pretty strong pace, but Credeo topped the session, 3/10 clear of Freeman. Marty Road Racing rounded it out in third. Codlingu in fifth with John Jig sixth. The big news is that Cheese Monkey, the championship leader, the runaway championship leader at this point in this season, was over a second off at a pace in the qualifying not in the qualifying, the practice session, should I say. The practice session, Cheese Monkey was nowhere to be seen. 1.4 seconds off, we said. Now, a bit of a power track is Imola. We know that. We know that there's a few long straights and a couple of shorter straights, but it's a big power circuit. And the Ginetta seems to be struggling from what we've seen so far. Zanafanda also in the Ginetta usually is up there or thereabouts, was almost a second off the pace, or put it in P5. Cheese Monkey, the championship leader, down in P7, as we said. So this championship might not be over yet. I mean, I know that obviously Freeman wasn't here last week, but you know, yeah, despite that, there could still be opportunities for a few thrills and spills in this one. Marty Road Racing still an outside bet in this championship in that BMW. Also, could be hot property tonight. So yeah, this one could be an interesting one, but then again, Cheese Monkey could just be sandbagging and could be trying to confuse us all. That could just be the case, in which case, we know I'll probably just sound like a bit of an idiot there, but nonetheless, we're going to find out over the course of tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes. But still no laps being set at the moment. Obviously the drivers on that, most of them on their first flying laps. Some of them are still on their out laps at this point, but those times will be coming in thick and fast pretty shortly. I want to say a big welcome to Guitar Rich. Audio good, go Pete, he says. Obviously voicing his support for Pete Bibb here out there tonight, who races with us in these GT4s on a Wednesday, and also races with us on Friday night in the touring cars on Project Cars 2 as well. So he's a versatile racer, is Pete Bibb. Let's see where he is at the moment. He's just coming down the hill towards Acquaminerale right now. He's driving in his customary number 56 Audi, so he's definitely going to be looking to try and get the best out of that tonight. Should be attracted, should be decent around here, I'd say, the Audi. We'll keep an eye on Pete Bibb. As we said, also a regular racer in the touring cars on Fridays, so he has a lot to practice for, and it's not easy when you're racing in multiple series throughout the week, especially on two different games. You've really got to get that familiarity sorted out in the build up to each race, because you know, they're two very different handling models, but good on Pete Bibb nonetheless. Freeman's currently sat top of the leaderboard on a 52.1. The fastest time in the practice session earlier on was a 51.8 set by Credeo, so they're currently 2 or 3 tenths off for the times that we saw in the practice session. So at the moment there's still work to do for these drivers at the moment, but 2 tenths separating Freeman and Zanafanda at the moment, and then you've got Marty Road Racing 8 tenths off the pace in third, but Zanafanda seems to have picked up the pace quite considerably since the practice session. Now we know obviously that Zanafanda was about a second off at the pace in the practice session, but he's already improved his own time by about half a second between practice and qualifying, so maybe the Ginettas just sandbagging a little bit in the practice session. As we said earlier on, it could mean big things for Cheese Monkey if he's off the pace tonight. Kasarich says, changing my driver, John Jig's sacked. Well, that's a bit harsh on John Jig, but yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just these inconsistencies caused Guitar Rich to change allegiance for the time being. Obviously Guitar Rich, big fan of John Jig, they're actual friends off the game as well, so Be interested to see what John Jig can get up to tonight. I'm sure the Guitar Rich is secretly still rooting for John Jig, but outwardly probably losing his affection by the minute with the not so great performances on track. But then again, John Jig's not been too bad this season, to be fair. He's always up there and he's a quick driver. I mean, he's always strong in qualifying. Sometimes the races go a little bit Pete Tong for him, but he'll be hoping that isn't the case tonight, I'm sure. As we see Kodlungu and Nilsson in the pits, everybody else is out on the track. Out of the 13 cars, we've got 11 out on the track, and the time's coming in thick and fast, as we say. Freeman's still stopping the leaderboard at the moment by 2 tenths ahead of Xander Flander. The fastest man in the practice session, Quadeo, has done a time good enough for third at the moment. What's Xander Flander going to do as he's coming up towards the line? Can he improve a little bit? Go top of this leaderboard. Marty Road Racing's gone provisional pole by 15,000 to a second. Xander Flander tops that all and goes top of the leaderboard there. Lovely lap from Xander Flander. He goes to top of the pile there with the first man into the 151s in this qualifying session. Lovely lap there from Xander Flander. Freeman's gone into the pits, so he's presumably going to make a few tweaks or maybe just siphoning his fuel a little bit and going for another run. Looks like he was straight out of the garage there, so he's already running low fuel. He's already got it where he needs it to be, just needs another crack at it. But Freeman leaves the garage and back out onto the track again. But Xander Flander looking very strong. The other Ginetta of Cheese Monkey, I said it earlier on, doesn't seem to have too much pace tonight. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, the pace just doesn't seem to be there for Cheese Monkey tonight. I don't know what it is. Maybe a bit of sandbagging, who knows. But yeah, at this stage I wouldn't want to be a betting man on Cheese Monkey, because he's not really on the usual form that we see him on week in, week out. David Snook, otherwise known as Snooky, says, gutted not being there, boys, but watching. Still come on, Windsor. Come on, some points are needed. Absolutely, David. Hopefully you're having a good time. I know you've obviously gone away for a few days, so hopefully you're enjoying yourself, and good to see that you're checking in on the GT4 boys tonight. And yeah, absolutely, Windsor has got to get a good result here tonight. Should be still hasn't done a lap time actually yet in this qualifying session, so he's got to get his skates on here. But himself and Pete Bibb, the only drivers still yet to set lap times at the moment in this session. Guitar Rich says first one season, but Xander Flander's coming down the hill towards the final corner at the moment. Let's see what the provisional pole sitter can do here, as he's got this double left-hander to go. It's kind of like a hairpin, but it's not really a hairpin, it's a two-part corner really. Cordeo's gone top of the leaderboard there. Look at that, 51.6 from Cordeo. He goes on to provisional pole position. Can Xander Flander respond here out of the last corner? He needs to get a good run. The Ginetta not famed for its straight line speed, but it's quick through the middle sector and in the chicanes. Let's see what Xander Flander can do as he comes up towards the line now. Can he dethrone Cordeo, having Cordeo just gone and pushed him off that top of the leaderboard? Xander Flander over the line doesn't improve at the moment, stays in second place for the time being. David Snook says, all good, pal. Wife's let me watch even away on her birthday break. Very kind of her, got to say. I think she's a keeper there, mate. Well, you're obviously married, so you know there's a little way beyond that now, but fair play to her. That's very, very generous to allow you to have a little break and watch the race in here. But Xander Flander not able to improve on that last lap time that we saw there. Still in the front row provisionally as it stands. Marty in third has managed to obviously get ahead of Freeman. We saw him go to the top of the leaderboard at the time, but Quideo and Xander Flander have since pushed those two down 2 positions each. Marty now in third, Freeman fourth. The Team Run DJC boys provisionally on the second row as it stands. Kodlungu of Team Run DJC in 5th place will start alongside Cheese Monkey as it stands on the third row. Cheese Monkey's parked up and he's in the pits, so he's going to need to get those repairs done and get out on the track as soon as he can. Try and get himself a little bit further up the order. We've got John Jig just coming towards the end of the pit lane now, so he's just coming out for another crack at it. Duke Martin is coming towards the end of the first sector now, in towards the hairpin. You got Pete Bibb in the pits. Cheese Monkey's just leaving his garage. You can see there the Ginetta on the right side of your screen, just leaving the pits now. But Pete Bibb looks like he's not going anywhere fast at the moment. Lazy Camel occupying the top 10 spot at the moment, the final top 10 spot. You got King Quinn in 11th, Nilsson in 12th, and Windsor 13th. What can King Quinn do as he comes up towards the line? Can he improve on his current fastest lap? Yes, he does. He goes up into the top 10 there, pushes the Lazy Camel down a position. Nice lap there from King Quinn. As I'm hiccuping left, right and centre at the moment. Maybe I need to take a deep breath and calm down, but I don't know how to do that. But Quideo into the pits here at the end of that lap. We've still got everybody except Quideo and Pete Bibb out on the track at the moment. David also saying, good, come on Xander, big shouts from the stands. Yeah, definitely, Xander Flander doing a great job in the Ginetta, David, and only a 1/10 of a second off for the fastest time being set by Cordeo, which is no mean feat around a track like this. It is a power circuit, Imola. You are on full throttle for a lot of the lap, and to be fair, there are a few slower corners, but they're all sort of like, you've got a couple of slow corners, but yeah, a lot of them is medium speed, so fair play to Xander Flander for getting it so high up the order. Cheese Monkey, the championship leader, the man who won the championship in the Ginetta, Assetto last season, currently seems to really be struggling. So you've absolutely got to give Xander Flander a big pat on the back for the job he's doing tonight. JR says, let's go team run. I think you forgot the DJC bit at the end there, mate. Right, there we go. But yes, it's looking like Cheese Monkey with work to do here in this session. This could be a big night for Team Run DJC, with the likes of Marty and Freeman up there, but Kodalungu's managed to push Marty and Freeman down a position. Kodalungu up into third place, didn't get that. Isabella's been pressing the send button there for JR, obviously. Got to look after your devices, mate. Got to look after them. But Kodalungu there moving up onto the second row as it stands, ahead of Marty Road Racing. And Freeman, all of a sudden, down in P5, despite being only 0.4 of a second off for the fastest time in this session. You know, it's definitely going to be a difficult race for Freeman if he stays where he is. Obviously, he's only one place ahead of his championship rival now. Guitar Rich says Cheese warming up. maybe, who knows? He might have a little bit in his pocket, possibly just trying to lure his opponents into a false sense of security and then striking the knockout blow when they're not ready for it. But he's just coming out of the final corner now, so Cheese Monkey will get 2 runs here at the end of this qualifying session before it concludes and before we'll be all done for it. Marty Road Racing, look at that, has just gone pole position there, and Xander Flander comes over the line just after him. Those two putting in blitzing lap times there. Xander Flander was probably come out of that last corner thinking, I've got pole here, but Marty came over the line about 3-4 seconds before him and did a 151.3. Xander Flander's probably sat there thinking, what have I got to do to get onto the top spot here? What a lap from Marty Road Racing. Absolutely flying there tonight. He's really put a bit of a gap between himself and Freeman as Freeman's going up towards the line. What can Freeman do here? He will get 2 more laps after this one, so whatever this is, he'll get another crack at the cherry here. But he's gone P1. Look at that, Freeman. Oh my goodness, what a brilliant lap there from Freeman. A 51.2. Looks like all of these guys were sandbagging in the practice sessions, because we've seen the times absolutely plunge from what we saw in practice. Freeman on a 151.2, Marty a 51.3, Xander Flander now all of a sudden in a matter of a few seconds there is down to third place in this leaderboard, almost 0.2 off of the pole time, only half a second separating the top 5 drivers here. It's so close at Imola tonight for round 10 of the GT4s. Cheese Monkey 1.3 seconds off the pace though, and that is going to be a very worrying sign here for the championship leader at this point. David Snook, Cheese Monkey waiting to go fondue. Go Marty as well. Obviously Snooky there very much getting behind Marty Road Racing, currently sat on the front row provisionally alongside his teammate Team Run DJC Freeman, who's obviously got an outside shot at this championship, as is Marty. These two are both going to be trying to bring the smoke here tonight, with Cheese Monkey seemingly struggling in that Ginetta, the championship leader, coming down towards the final couple of corners now in this qualifying session. He'll get 1 more run in after this, but this is really crunch time here for Cheese Monkey as he hits the brakes down the hill. It's a tricky braking zone, especially when you're going downhill. You want to make sure you've got the brake balance absolutely sorted for this. It's not the kind of track where you can alter your brake balance before sessions. You kind of need to have that affinity with exactly what the car's going to do as soon as you get that brakes coming through that corner. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in trouble with the heavy fuel loads at the start of the race. But Cheese Monkey up towards the line. Let's see what the championship leader can put on the board here. And he's not finding the pace here. He's not finding anything at the moment. He remains 1.3 seconds off the pace as Kodalungu goes up into P2 there. 200ths of a second off for the fastest time being set by Freeman. Splits Freeman and Marty Road Racing. It looks like Marty's not going to improve. He's sat in the pits. He's certainly not going to get any better from in there. But we see there's Xander Flander also on 7 in the front row. Somebody's retired from the session. Who's left? Somebody's retired from the qualifying session here. Just having a look on the board to see who that is. It's who is it? Well, I'm just trying to have a look here to see who's retired from the session. It is Xander Flander. Xander Flander's left the session here, so I don't know what's happened. Hopefully he gets back in time. He will be able to jump back in and retake his spot, as long as he gets in before the end of qualifying, before that timer at the top. You see the max wait time. As long as he gets in before that's done, he should be alright to rejoin the session and take his spot in second on the grid, or wherever he ends up with all these times coming in as thick and fast as they are. But Freeman pistol on pole position. Kodalungu now moving up into P2 with all that. So yeah, I mean, Yeah, no, Xander Thunder is back in. Thank goodness for that. So he'll start fourth. He'll start in P4 as it stands then. So Xander Thunder does get himself back in, which is all good to see. So 13 cars will make the start for this one. But Freeman out there at the moment. Kodalungu on his final run of the session. Can Kodalungu nick pole here at the end? Quideo also on a lap. Cheese Monkey's coming in towards the final corner. Let's see what the championship leader can do here as he gets onto the power out of the last corner. He's currently down in P6 at the moment, is Cheese Monkey. He's struggled throughout the course of the practice sessions and indeed the qualifying here so far. Has he found a little bit of pace here right at the very end as we're about to go for the race? Up towards the line, Cheese Monkey comes and he stays in P6, but he does improve his lap considerably. He gets himself within 7/10 of a second of Freeman's pole time, so Cheese Monkey found a lot at the end there. He can take solace from that, but he'll be starting down in P6 for this one with his championship rival on pole. Can Freeman improve at the end of this session as he comes up towards the line? What is it going to be for the man currently on pole position? He goes a little bit further ahead there. He improves by about a 10th, so he improves his margin to almost 2/10 of a second to Kodalungu, and that is going to be that then for the qualifying session. Freeman with a lovely lap there, almost dipping into the 1 minute 50s, just about missing out on that, but Freeman's going to line up on pole here for this one with Kodalungu alongside him. It's a team run DJC 1, 2, 3 with Freeman, Cod and Marty all occupying the top spots. You've got Xander Thunder joining Marty on the second row with Credeo, Cheese Monkey in 5th and 6th on the third row. John Jig and Duke Martin 7th and 8th, and the Lazy Camel and Pete Bibb completing the top 10. It's going to be King Quinn in 11th with Nilsson and Windsor rounding out the field. Dramatic qualifying session there. The times were really rolling in towards the end of that qualifying session. Scuderia Paul says, evening all, welcome along mate, good to see you in the comments. Scuderia Paul, one of our biggest fans here on Motive TV, regular racer in the GT3s on a Sunday night, and he'll obviously well, actually Racky's not racing tonight. I'm trying to guess who Scuderia Paul's rooting for. Let us know, Paul, who your money's on for tonight, because I don't know who. None of your usual favourites are in the race as far as I can see. Let us know in the comments who you're rooting for tonight. We got Guitar Rich says Pete got out. Yeah. Team Run DJC Roadblock says JR Sim Racing. Well, hopefully they race each other and put on a show rather than putting on a roadblock. It'd be good to see them all giving each other a bit of a headache, but Guitar Rich says it's John Jig gone. He's back for you. Yeah, it was Xander Thunder. I think that left, that jumped out. I don't know. Actually, you know what? It might have been John Jig. Yeah, it might have been, you know. I don't know. I thought it was Xander Thunder, but I might have been mistaken there. Guys, can't win on first corner, our race boys. Yeah, you've got to just keep yourself in there. You cannot win it at the first corner, but you can certainly lose it. So let's hope that everybody's just sensible coming into this turn one. No safety cars on this game, so if you've been into the first corner, that's it, your race is over. As Auto Butcher there says, poor qualifying from Cheese. Good for Freeman though, absolutely. Cheese Monkey's got work to do here. But to be fair though, Butcher, he improved his time by quite a bit at the end of the session. He got himself up into, well, he stayed in 6th, but he was only 7/10 off of the pole time, so he improved a lot at the end there. 7/10 separating 6 drivers here at the front of the grid. It's so close. As Snooky says, it's difficult to call really, with it being as tight as it is. So I'm sure that Butcher will be hoping that Cheese Monkey can climb up the field a little bit in the race. He's a much better racer than he is qualifier. Cheese Monkey always seems to go better in the races than he does in quali. Yeehaw messaged us and then retracted his message almost straight away, so don't know what he said there, as we've lost John Jig again. What is happening here with John Jig? John Jig's just left the session here once again with only 90 seconds until the start of the race, so hopefully he can get back in time. Cheese Monkey says this is going to be a tough one. Looks like it at the moment, mate, but P6 on the grid isn't too bad. Hopefully you'll be able to keep yourself in the hunt for a podium from there. Scooter Report says if we get a good close race, I'll be happy for sure. Yeah, hopefully they can keep it clean. Turn 1's going to be pivotal. It's a difficult turn 1. It's a flat out king, which leads into the actual turn itself, or the corner, should I say. That the first part is a turn, but it's not really a corner. But the first corner is that braking zone, that left-handed braking zone, which leads straight into a chicane. Effectively, it's the Villeneuve chicane, I think it's called, or it's Tamburello. I'll get those two mixed up. Can't actually remember which one's which. I think the Villeneuve one is the first one, and Tamburello is the second one. But I could have got that the wrong way around. If anybody knows in the comments, let me know. But here we are then, ladies and gentlemen. We are 30 seconds away from the start of the formation lap. Auto Butcher says, Cheese, stop typing and get on it. Stop messing about. But at the moment, we're 20 seconds away. Cheese Monkey's going to be very much eyes on the prize at this point. He'll be putting those blinkers on and getting ready for the start here. Moments away from the start of the formation lap, but it is a formation lap. We won't be jumping straight into the race. We're going to be going around at a very, very not jaunty, a very Sunday drivey type of speed here on this formation lap before we actually get going for the race itself. John Jig did get back in, but he didn't get back in before the end of the qualifying session. He got back in during the countdown for the race. So John Jig will start this one from the back, which is a bit of a drag for him, but nonetheless I'm sure he'll be able to find his way back through the field as it goes on. But here we are then. Cars just pulling off for their grid markers right now. So Freeman leading us away for this one. Codlunga will be just behind him, looking to get a good performance in. Codlunga's had a patchy season so far. Wasn't able to be with us for the first couple of rounds of the season here. So Codlunga had a slow start to it. When he got back, everyone else had obviously been in the flow for it for a couple of weeks. He had to just just ease himself back into it again. And Codlunga found himself a little bit off the pace in the early part. Not so much off the pace, but inconsistency really did plague him in his first couple of races of the season, but he really seems to have found his footing here at Imola, as we say, putting it on the front row alongside his team run DJC teammate Freeman. So I'm expecting a big night from Codlunga. This could be a baptism of fire for him at the end of this season, right at the tail end of the season, with only 3 rounds left to go, as his teammate team run DJC Freeman is going to be fighting it out for the championship with Cheese Monkey, who's going to be lining up in P6 in this one. Marty Road Racing of Team Run DJC in 3rd place, Zanderfander in 4th, with Credeo 5th. I'm sure that Codlunga and Marty are going to try and play wingman for Freeman. As long as Freeman gets a good first couple of laps and manages to break away a bit, Codlunga and Marty will, I'm sure, be making that roadblock for Cheese Monkey. But let's hope that it's all clean and fair between these drivers. Zanderfander and Credeo also in the mix there in 4th and 5th places. JR says we should be okay. Marty has the inside on row 2. I suppose a good start from Zanderfander could change that once we get off the line. But so Lazy Camel and Windsor both failed to ready up at the start of the race, so they're going to start from the pit lane. So that's not what they would have wanted or needed. So yeah, that's gone a bit Pete Tong for those two. But at the moment, Freeman leads us around for this formation lap. Coming towards the end of the formation lap now. Only a few corners to go until we'll be putting our foots to the floor and we'll be going out of that last corner. Big question is, can Freeman hold on to pole in the first lap? Then can he manage to pull out a bit of a gap? If he can, then I'm sure that Cod and Marty will be playing the team game and trying to delay Cheese Monkey's progress a bit. That's if Cheese Monkey's able to get ahead of Zanderfander and Cordeo, who have both had very strong pace over the course of this event so far. But here we come then, in towards the lead us around. They'll be slowing right down here as they get into formation. It'll be double file. David Snook in the comments says, obviously me and Cod have had a run in at Spa Racing Incident, but he's looking good tonight. Hope team orders don't spoil it. A possible better race with Cheese chasing and John Jig from the back. Absolutely, those two are going to be ones to watch, but Cheese especially poised right there behind them. Codlunga maybe will get a run at this one, and it'd be nice to see him be challenging for the win, but I don't know whether he'll have to pay to Freeman. Freeman's a proven winner this season and is used to standing on the top step throughout the course of this one. We saw it at Silverstone earlier on in the season. We also saw it at Suzuka and a couple of other races as well. He's taken the wins, but here we are then, forming up at the start for round 10 of the GT4s on ACC here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 at Motive at Imola. And it is going to be green in a few moments time. Freeman on the left, Codlunga on the right, Marty and Zanderfander behind them. And it is green, green, green. We are now officially racing here at Imola, and Cod gets a much better bite than Freeman up towards the first corner. He's going to have the outside. Freeman's going to have to defend this one and brake a little bit later, coming up towards turn 1. Here we come, onto the brakes they come. Freeman does get a better job of the brakes there and holds on to the lead here. Cod in second place. Marty has lost out there to Cordeo there. Cordeo has got himself up into 3rd place. A very strong first corner there from Cordeo. He's all over the chuff of Codlunga here. So Marty and Zanderfander losing out to Cordeo. Duke Martin there has made a decent start there up into 5th place, so he's had a very strong opening lap. The Lazy Camel, it's currently Freeman leading the race ahead of Codalungu's. Quideo there in 3rd place, Hassel in the back of Codalungu as they come up the hill towards this left-hander, which in between the 1st and 2nd sectors here, and Quideo looks like he's got this one done here. Is he going to be able to complete this move? He hugs the inside as Codalungu leads him in space on the inside. Cod just about holding it around the outside and keeps onto that 2nd place. A flash of lights there from Quideo. He seems unhappy with something, but to me that seemed like very good racing there from Codalungu. Those two as they were. There's Marty just behind with Duke Martin. Cheese Monkey Hassel in the back of Duke Martin here, but Duke Martin getting himself ahead of Cheese Monkey on this opening lap, so not what Cheese Monkey would have needed at all. As Cheese Monkey is going to look to the inside in towards the chicane there, and I think he's going to have that move back done on Duke Martin. He has done, so nicely done there from Cheese Monkey. Freeman's already opened up nearly a 2-second gap here over Codalungu on this opening lap. 1.8 you see between those two. Codalungu still keeping Quideo behind him, and Quideo's flashing his lights. I don't know if that's an accident there from Quideo. I don't know if he's left them on, but whatever the case here, that is not going to be what he needs at all. What Codalungu needs, seeing as he's got that distraction in his rearview mirrors. Marty on the back of these three, battling it out over 2nd place, trying to get himself onto the podium if he can. Cheese Monkey got ahead of Duke Martin, and Duke Martin has now got a train of cars behind him. He's been passed actually by not Pete Bibb. He's just been passed there by Xanaflander's actually dropped back into the clutches of them, should I say. Xanaflander's got ahead of Duke Martin. A difficult first lap from Xanaflander here, as he's now trying to defend from all of these cars down the pit straight. The Ginetta, not famed for his straight line speed, he manages to hold on there and gets ahead of Duke Martin, as we see somebody very wide. Pete Bibb's off onto the gravel there, coming through the Villeneuve chicane there. Disaster there for Pete Bibb. He's going to lose out massively to a train of cars there. Nilsson and John Jig both getting ahead of him, so Pete Bibb dropping down the order. Duke Martin is lost out to King Quinn. King Quinn's got himself into 7th place. Xanderflander now starting to pull away from this pack of cars and trying to get onto the back of the lead cars if he can. Freeman though leads ahead of Quideo. Quideo's made the move on Codalungu up into 2nd place, but Codalungu is just sat in that final podium spot doing a decent job at the moment. Marty Road Race in there in P4 is not too far off the back of the podium runners at the moment. Cheese Monkey there in P5 having got the move done on Duke Martin. Duke Martin has gone backwards since then, down in 8th place behind this man Xanderflander and King Quinn as well. Duke Martin there on the back of that trio. We've got Pete, a bit of a gap back to him in 9th place after that excursion over the gravel. He's got John Jig really close on the back of him. There's Nilsson in the background of this. These guys battling over 9th, 10th and 11th places. The Lazy Camel and Windsor having started from the pit lane here in this one, down in 12th and 13th, and not the opening lap that those two would have needed. Scooter Paul says Freeman has checked out. Yep, we could have predicted that one, Paul. I thought to myself, if he gets through the first couple of laps unscathed and manages to pull out a gap, he's going to put himself in a very good position here in the battle with Cheese Monkey for the championship. But it's a long way to go. The gap is very, very large in the point standings though, so it's going to be very, very difficult for Freeman to be able to claw that back over the course of these remaining 3 races. But he's got a 3-second gap to Quideo, and Quideo's got Codalungu and Marty really close on the back of him here. Look at these two in hot pursuit. As we see now, Marty Road Racing's got the slipstream off of Quideo, which is going to allow him to power past Codalungu. Codalungu is sitting duck there. Now Marty looks to the outside of Quideo. Can he make it 2 position gains in the space of a couple of corners here? Or he's space not a couple of corners, in the space of a couple of 100 metres, but he tucks in behind for the time being. He's not able to get ahead of Quideo there. Quideo holding on for that 2nd place. He's leading this trio of cars, 2nd, 3rd and 4th places, and Cheese Monkey now starting to reel these guys in a little bit. Cheese Monkey there in the comments says JR Sim Racing. He's also saying Nan's a legend. He knows that you're in here, Nana. He can hear you in the background. Eddie can hear you. He knows you're watching. But Freeman leads his race by 5 seconds at the moment, ahead of Quideo. And Marty's still running in 3rd place. Codalungu, Cheese Monkey pretty close on the back. These 4 guys separated by about a second at the moment, so this is looking like a pretty juicy battle at this point between 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Xanderflander a couple of seconds behind there in 6th place. Just pulled out a bit of a gap here to King Quinn and Duke Martin since getting ahead of them on the opening lap. Xanderflander's actually reeling in the leaders a little bit here, so he seems to be on one at this stage in the race.
Has Xander got to watch this?
No. No, you haven't. But Duke Martin on the back of King Quinn right now, 0.8 of a second between these two. Pete Bibb's got John. Oh no, Pete Bibb's lost it. He's in the wall. Oh no, he's just binned it into the barriers there. Look at that. No, he's just binned it. He's crashed. Look at the front end of that car. Oh no. John Jig there's going to move through up into 10th place as the cameraman decides to take a day off coming through that corner. But in fact, no, it's not John Jig there. That is actually, that's the Lazy Camel there, moving ahead of Pete Bibb. So Pete Bibb's had an absolute mare there, and that is going to be upsetting Guitar Rich quite a bit. Guitar Rich says, "Hi Nana, tell Andy he talks too much." What do you think about that?
So said I talk too much.
No. Rich says that I talk too much. He says, hi Nana, Andy. Tell Andy he talks too much.
Oh.
Anyway, moving swiftly on, we've got Freeman still leading this race by over 5 seconds at the moment over Quadeo. Marty, Codalungu, Cheese Monkey still pretty close at the moment. Cheese Monkey's dropped off at the back of these guys a little bit over the course of the last couple of laps. JR says, when you get a minute, please tell her we all send our love and hope she's keeping well. Aww. Oh. Isn't that nice? We got Cheese Monkey's looking to the outside. Look, he's looking around the outside of Codalungu, coming in towards turns 2 and 3. But at the moment, Codalungu just getting his elbows out really nicely there and defending that position. I've always going to cut back to the inside. Cheese Monkey's going to go for a very late move on the inside there. Oh my god, my heart was in my mouth there as I thought he was going to make that move. It's not horse racing, Nanny. You can't motion the reins and the whip. But at the moment, we got. We can't. Oh my god, right, anyway, Cordeo's got Marty up the inside and Marty threw up into second place. Cheese Monkey looking around the outside everywhere that he can on Codalungu, still can't get it done, and Xanafander's looking on this in the background, but now Cheese Monkey's looking to try and get a cut back here, but Marty up into second place, getting the move done brilliantly there on Cordeo. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Codalungu here with Cheese Monkey right up his chuff as they're coming up towards the chicane. As we've got the comments rolling in here now, lots of Nana Appreciation Society coming in the comments at the moment. Scuderia Paul says, Nan didn't disagree about you talking too much, hope the good lady is well. Aww. You're getting lots of appreciation comments tonight, Nana. That's nice, isn't it? That's nice. 6 seconds currently separating Freeman and Marty at the moment. Cordeo still has in the back of Marty Road Racing as they're coming out of the last corner. Well, I will be in a second. There they are, just coming into your shot there, out onto the start finish straight they come. Marty's still keeping Cordeo behind him by the skin of his teeth. Codalungu's dropped off in a little bit, but having said that though, over the course of this sector it seems like he's reeled him in a bit. The gap was 1.2 back to Codalungu a moment ago. It looks like it's a bit less than that now, and yes it is, it's 9/10 between them. But Cheese Monkey there in the background of this, P5 still keeping ahead of Xanafander, but the two Janettas on the rear of the BMWs and the solitary Mercedes running in the top 4, so the Janettas not out of this race, and if they can keep themselves there in that slipstream, they could be contenders once this pit window rolls round for sure. But Freeman absolutely running away with this at the moment. He leads the race by over 6.5 seconds. The Team Run DJC boys, yeah, that's Freeman, yeah. But the Team Run DJC boys doing a very good job of keeping everybody at bay at the moment with these guys in the background. You got Cordeo just behind Marty at the moment. Codalungu playing rear gunner of the Team Run DJC boys. Then you've got Cheese Monkey just behind Codalungu. So at the moment, Codalungu is ideally placed to keep Cheese Monkey out of this picture. And Xanafander very close on the back of Cheese Monkey as well. So ideally, these guys, if they want to prevent Cheese Monkey from getting points, they'll have to try and back Cheese Monkey up into Xanafander. But maybe they're not thinking about that just at the moment. Maybe it's a little bit early doors in this race. But whatever the case, they want Freeman to be gaining as many points as possible on Cheese Monkey. But Cheese Monkey, we know, is a very calm and collected driver. Always keeps his composure very impressively. He's a proven champion in this GT4 championship, and if anybody can find a way through ahead of these guys and outfox them in the strategy, it's Cheese Monkey for sure. But he's having to defend here coming into the chicane as Xanafander looking to the outside. Can he get a good run here coming out of the chicane? Cheese Monkey looks like he's had a bit of a sketchy middle sector here, and it's dropped off at the back of this battle for the podium spots, and now Xanafander's looking pretty poised here on the back of him. As down the hill they come. Auto Butcher says, great racing, great commentary, thank you. And Nan Wisdom's, what more do we need? Raki says, evening all, welcome along Raki. Good to see Raki in the comments as always. One of our regulars on a Friday night in the F1 League on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. Also used to race with us in the Porsche Cup before that got knocked on the head. And a reserve, sporadic reserve also on the Sunday night in the GT3s here on ACC. So Raki is a multi-talented driver who can race on many different games and very, very different types of games, it must be said as well. ACC and F1 are literally like the most complete polar opposite of sim racers you could ever possibly imagine, but Raki somehow pulls it off consistently throughout the week. But we see Cheese Monkey still keeping Xanafander behind him, and Xanafander gets a little bit of a twitch there coming out of the exit of Villeneuve chicane, and Cheese Monkey still keeping him behind for the time being. Freeman no leads by almost 7 seconds over Marty. The gap hasn't really gone up over the course of these last couple of laps. Looks like this chasing pack, I say chasing, they're not really, it's not really a chase at this point, but it's more of a pursuit. But Marty running in second place with Cordeo pretty close on the back of him, 8/10 between those two. Codalungu's dropped off of the second and third battle here and is still pulling away from Cheese Monkey though, and Xanafander at this point. Those two in 5th and 6th just behind our 4th place man Codalungu. Raki says, hey man, I enjoyed your tail lights last Sunday to Scuderia Paul. Those two had a great battle on Sunday at Brands Hatch. If you haven't already, guys, be sure to check out the GT3 stream from Sunday. Those two had a really exciting battle, which I think was for 4th and 5th places, and it went all the way down to the wire, to the final lap. We were watching the lead battle at the time as well. We were watching SMT Maroon closing quite a bit. In the final stages of that race. We were watching a very exciting battle for the lead that night, but those two were also the stars of the show, running in P4 and 5. But yeah, that was an exciting race between those two for sure. They really did put on a hell of a show, but Quadeo managed to take the win on Sunday for the GT3s, with SMT Maroon really closing him down towards the end. We were watching that. We were also watching that battle between Raki and Paul, but for the time being, we've got this lead on right now. Freeman leading this race in these GT4s here on a Wednesday night on ACC at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Marty there's managed to put about a second of a gap back to Quadeo at this point. Codlungy's dropping off at the back of those two ever so slightly, and Cheese Monkey falling off of Quadeo, and it's kind of just starting to spread out a little bit now. The battles have sort of just worn thin a little bit, and really the only drivers within a second of each other is Codlungy's got a second back to Cheese Monkey, and Cheese Monkey's got just under a second back to Xanafander. So that's really all we've got in terms of battles at the moment. Marty's closed the gap to Freeman a little bit. The gap was 6.5 seconds. It's now 5.7. So Marty's got some work done over these last couple of laps, and look at that, the gap's come down again there by about a second on that last lap. So Marty road racing, showing that he's got some very, very strong pace here in this race. Well, that's not going to be what Freeman wants, but maybe Freeman made him a couple of mistakes. I'd hope for Freeman's sake that it was a mistake, because if it isn't, then that's a lot of time gained for Marty road racing there. At least if it's a mistake, then he can understand why. But Scuderia Paul says, if you are racing this Sunday, please let me know. That ended up being a scary surprise at Brands Hatch. Yeah, definitely. It was it was an exciting one to watch there. Hopefully Raki will join us on Sunday night as a reserve for the next round of the GT3s. I'm not actually sure where the GT3s are at this coming Sunday, to be fair, but yeah, well, we'll obviously hope that Raki can join us for that one, as he's a very, very exciting driver, always puts on a good show out on track. We're at Zolder on Sunday night, but it'll be a wet race at Zolder for the GT3, so that's always going to be an exciting one. JR in the comments talking to Paul and Raki there, but we got Freeman still leading this race at the moment by 4.2 seconds ahead of Marty road racing. Freeman's still got that gap over Marty at the moment. He's just holding it around the same, but Marty's gradually reeling him in a little bit over the course of this race. Quadeo there's now 2 seconds behind Marty, running in 3rd place. Codlungu there in 4th, a couple of seconds behind Quadeo. Cheese Monkey's about a second behind Codlungu at this point. It's got Xanafander breathing down his neck as these guys are coming out over the start-finish line here to complete the 7th lap of the race. Comments rolling in thick and fast. Guitar Rich says Cheese have his Red Bull soon. Yeah. Do you know what? I've said this so many times over the course of this season. Cheese Monkey seems to... He's always a good driver. He's always strong, but like during the first stint, he seems to not be as quick as in the second stint. The second stint, he always seems to lift up his pace a bit. So yeah, I don't know really why that is. And Cheese Monkey's said to us since that, you know, when we've spoken to him about it, he's always said, oh, there's nothing, I'm not doing anything different in the second stint from the first stint, I'm just doing the same thing. But clearly he always seems to find a bit more pace relative to the others in the final part of the race, so he's got something nailed down. So maybe we'll see a turn of foot coming after the pit window for Cheese Monkey tonight. Maybe, as Chiquitar, which alludes to there, he'll have to down a can of Red Bull as he comes into the pits, and maybe that will be the tonic for him to break into the podium spots tonight. But he's currently running in P5. He's 4 seconds off for the podium spots, but he's got Xanafander very hot on his rear at the moment. Only 7/10 between these two in 5th and 6th places. Raki says Zolder always good for chaos, and it's the wet as well, Raki, so you know, insult to injury there. And Zolder's a nightmare in the wet, I'm telling you that now. The water builds up in places you could only even imagine there being water in any situation in life, let alone on a racetrack. So I'm sure we're in for an absolute treat this Sunday night. If you want to race, be sure to let us know, we can get you in. I'm sure there'll be spots available. But we got also JR says he's getting into PC racing. Oh, PC, yeah. I mean, I would make a PC Motive League, but I don't think my PCs will be able to stream those races. It's not good enough, so I don't know. That would be a difficult one. If I had like 3 or 4 grand spare, that would be nice. But Unfortunately, I don't. But at the moment, anyway, we've got Cheese Monkey still just ahead of Xanafana, 8/10 between those two. Freeman's managed to pull out a bit of a gap to Marty. Marty was reeling the gap down a few laps ago. It's now kind of just gone up a bit. So Freeman's once again just found a little bit more pace. But Marty gained half a second through that final sector there. Second and a half back to this man Quideo running in third place. Further 3 seconds back to Codalingu in fourth. Cheese Monkey's dropped off of Codalingu a little bit over the course of the last lap or so, and has still got Xanafana hot on his heels at the moment. JR says, let's go, God, push for that BMW. Codalingu running in fourth place, though. He's 3 seconds behind Quideo, but he's keeping the gap to Cheese Monkey at this point. So Codalingu just needs to get himself into a groove, try and chip away at that gap to Quideo. Quideo's not too far off of Marty either, and I know how much JR would love it to be a team run DJC lockout for the podium tonight. But Raki there says, also in the dark, Andy, for Zolder. Wet and dark equals the end of times. Yeah, I think so. I think definitely it's going to be a bit of a doomsday scenario on Sunday night for Zolder. You know, it's pretty much just a recipe for disaster, isn't it, really? You know, wet and dark and Zolder. You know, those three factors are definitely going to produce quite the spectacle, or rather lack of, with it being night time and poor visibility in the rain, but we'll gloss over that for the time being. Auto Butcher there saying Cheese just takes the time to get into the groove once he's found that he knows when to push. Possibly, yeah, that makes a lot of sense there, to be honest. Auto Butcher. David Snooky says anyone who can get a Ginetta around quickly gets my vote. To be fair, the Ginetta's a quick car in the corners. You do have to really rag it around, and you have to, you know, you can't sort of relax for a second in that Ginetta, but it's a very quick car through the corners. It's just down the straights where it's completely and utterly useless, really. But through the corners, it's a quick car. It's also Xanafana going very deep into turn one there, and that's given Cheese Monkey a little bit of breathing space there in that fifth position. Freeman's gained about 7/10 on Marty over the last lap, so Freeman's continuing to do the business out the front. There's Marty road racing with Quideo just over a second behind him in third place, looking to try and take the fight to him and stop it from being a team run DJC 1-2. JR says he has one league which he's finishing up on PlayStation, then he'll be fully on the PC in the future. Would love to have PC leagues here at Motive, I really would, but I couldn't stream them because I don't have my computer's not good enough. I can just about run ACC on the PC in very, very poor graphics, but I wouldn't have a chance being able to stream it because the graphics wouldn't be good enough to stream. Literally, I have to lower the graphics to a point where they're worse than the PlayStation graphics just to be able to run the game. So it wouldn't be an option to stream it. I'd love to run leagues on there, but I'd need somebody else to stream it. Basically, that's the unfortunate side of it. But Scooter Paul says, I was very close to choosing the Lamborghini for GT3, but thinking of the older conditions, I'm glad I have the Bentley. Oh yeah, 100%. Lambo's not that great on ACC, to be fair. It's quick on project cars. On ACC, it's not the same story. Raki congratulating JR on his transition to the PC. JR says Bentley is an actual beast on console. Took me a while to figure that out. 720S on a G29. Still on a G29, JR? Same here. I'm still on a G29. I've been on it for I had a G29 now for 4.5 years. Getting on for, I think. I've had it for an age, and it's still not faded off in any way. I mean, the pedals are a little bit sticky sometimes. You have to like give them a kick every once in a while to get them to work properly, but you know, it's worked a treat. There's no signs of wear and tear on the wheel or anything. Never overheats, never does anything I don't want it to. G29 top wheel, underrated as hell. It's one of the best out there for the price. Honestly, the G29 is absolutely brilliant, lasts forever. Years old, and I've got some pretty good use out of it as well. I mean, I used to play project cars practically every day of the week. You know, for a good couple of years I would play project cars every day. Last year or so I've kind of just stopped racing so much and really just commentated, and that's more or less it. But you know, there was a long time where I would just be playing project cars practically my whole life. You know, get home from work, jump straight on project cars. That was my life. And the G29 has stood up to all of that and is still in perfect nick. So, you know, just goes to show what a strong wheel it is. Yeah, Auto Butcher says Cheese is on the G29 as well. JR says, my wheels never missed a beat, pedals are shit. Sorry, oh my god, I shouldn't be swearing. Oh, who cares? Who cares? It's not like we've got sponsors or anything. But it's not 2G Fanatec. No, it isn't really, is it? Raki says practice is worth more in making you faster than high-end wheels. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it doesn't really make you faster. It just adds the authenticity to it a little bit. Having a Fanatec wheel, you obviously feel more of what's going on. If anything, that could slow you down, really. But we see here anyway, Codalungu's got Cheese Monkey really pulling up onto the back of him here. 0.2 of a second separating these two as they're coming over the line to complete the 11th lap of the race up towards turn 1. Giannetta's got no straight line speed, and the Merc is able to hold on at an absolute canter there. He could lift off the throttle, coast down the gears, and still hold on to that. Still hold on to that P4. It's so slow down the straights as the Giannetta. Honestly, it just has nothing through those parts of the track. But to be fair, Cheese Monkey, he's only about 15 seconds off of the lead, so we could be seeing a shift once we get towards the pit window. But it looks to me maybe like Codalungu's playing rear gunner here. I don't know, maybe he's just toying with Cheese Monkey a little bit, trying to keep him at bay, knowing how slow the Giannetta is down the straights. Maybe Codalungu's just playing a few games here in trying to hold Cheese Monkey up a little bit. You know, I'm actually pretty sure watching this that that's what he's doing, because it looks like he's toying with him a little bit here. So Codalungu trying to delay Cheese Monkey's charge here in this race. This could hurt Cheese Monkey's championship here as Freeman is running away out in front. 4 seconds he's got to Marty. Marty's closed the gap over the last couple of laps. He's probably trying to make sure that he's got the pace to keep Cordero behind him and be that blockage for Freeman. But to be fair, I don't know what Marty's situation is in the championship. I mean, just put up these championship standings. Marty could actually be higher up than Freeman after last week, to be fair. You know, I should know this stuff, being that I'm the commentator for this series. But yeah, let me just put up those championship standings anyway, just so we actually know what we're talking about. Because Marty could actually be above Freeman after last week. Oh, we don't know. We're not. Oh no, we are. No, yep, they're up to date. So no, Marty's nowhere near that. Marty's out of the championship. I think realistically he's 165 points behind Cheese Monkey, so I think Marty's pretty much out of the title race. But 78 points between Cheese Monkey and Freeman. It's still doable for Freeman. It's still not out of the question for him. You get 60 points for a win in these GT4s. 60 points for a win. You get 41 points for a fifth. So yeah, that still wouldn't be enough. Still wouldn't be nearly enough for Freeman to nick the championship. He'd need to win every race, and for Cheese Monkey to finish in... Well, he'd probably need Cheese Monkey to finish in 7th or lower every race if he were to nick this title. But one bad round from Cheese Monkey and that could ultimately swing the balance a little bit. Codalungu's still running in 4th place just ahead of Cheese Monkey. He knows that he's got the pace down the straights to stop Cheese Monkey from getting past. Knows that all he needs to do is get good runs out of these corners, and he's pretty much got the position held on to. Cheese Monkey nowhere to go. Zanafanda very close on the back of these two now. Three-way battle here for 4th place. And it looks like it's raging on here between these drivers as they're dropping continuously off at the back of the podium runners. Freeman, Marty and Cordeo. The front three currently separated by 7 seconds. Freeman leads by 4 seconds to Marty. Just under 3 seconds between Marty and Cordeo at the moment, as we see Cordeo coming out of the last corner out onto the start finish at the moment. But Freeman looking like he's in control of this race for the time being. Raki there says they're saying a battle is forming. Go Cheese. Cheese though has got no pace down the straights, Raki, that's the problem. The Merc is so much quicker down the straights, the Giannetta's got no answer to it. So as long as Cod gets good drive out of the slower corners, he's basically got this held on to. Cheese Monkey needs Codalungu to make a mistake, but Codalungu is definitely playing games here with Cheese Monkey. He's trying to hold him up a little bit and make sure that he's out of pit window territory and out of undercut territory when he comes in. And Codalungu is playing this game really well at the moment for his team run DJC teammates. Freeman and Marty currently 1 and 2 Codalungu, to be fair, has done a very noble thing here because he's basically sacrificed his own race and his own hopes of a podium spot to keep Cheese Monkey away from the top two. So you've got to give it to him. At this point, Cod is playing an absolute blinder here with the strategy. JR saying, by the way, guys, show the GT4 boys some love and press the like button. Absolutely, guys. If you enjoy what you see, if you rate what these guys out on track are doing right now, then definitely drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the Motive Racing channel if you haven't already as well. If you want to see more action like this throughout the week, then make sure that you go to www.motiveracing.com, hit the bell on the channel, and that will notify you when we're live in the future. Some great stuff to get involved with on the PlayStation platform here, solely on the PlayStation. We will. Raki says 11 people watching. Why haven't we got 11 likes? Oh, Raki, I'm thinking the exact same thing. 12 people watching now. Come on, guys. 12 likes on the video. Why not? Why not? As we see John Jig, the first man into the pits here at the beginning of the pit window. I imagine Cheese Monkey's surely got to come in here because the more time he spends behind Codalungu, the more time he's going to lose to the leaders. But at the moment he's staying out, so maybe he's going to split it halfway here and try and come in half distance. Who knows? Evan Hayes in the comments, otherwise known as Evan IRL, one of our regulars here in the GT3s and the GT4s at Motive, says, hey folks, got it to be missing this race as I've got a good fortune with Imola. Best of luck to all the drivers, and come on Cheese Monkey! Evan obviously did a very good job at Imola, not just in the GT3s on Sunday, but also earlier in the season in the Porsche Super Cup as well. He got podiums in both of those races here at Imola, so it's a track where he really shines. He commented earlier on in the day, this morning on the Discord, saying that he was gutted to be missing this race as it's one of his stronger tracks. It would have been a good opportunity for him to get another podium, I'm sure, but he's watching it from, obviously, whilst working at the same time. So Evan, hopefully you don't get caught, mate. Hopefully you're on your toilet break or you're on your actual work break. If you're not, you're a naughty boy and you should stop. I'm joking. Stay, carry on. Get your friends, get your workmates to subscribe to the Motive Racing channel while you're at it as well. Raki says, Paul, seems I can't join Sunday, so no pressure from behind this time. The Lazy Camel says, no connection failure, it was just me. Lazy Camel out of the race, and somebody else has lost it as well. Somebody else is out of the race. John Jig's retired. John Jig's disconnected. The Lazy Camel and John Jig both out of the race. Oh no. What a shame. What a shame. John Jig and the Lazy Camel both disconnecting from the race. Lazy Camel was up against it from the start, to be fair, having to start from the pit lane, but it's just, his race has just been knocked on the head there, and that's it. That's his hopes done for tonight. We see the race leader Freeman's come into the pits and he's now about to stop in the box. I've kind of just been caught comment watching there and completely missed what was going on the track, but Lazy Camel says, go goes down and make up for my nightmare of a race. Yeah, absolutely. Xanathander's now got the pressure on him to make up for the Lazy Camel having a bit of a downer. JR saying Freeman's like 90 points ahead of Marty. Yeah, I checked out the standings, and it really is between Cheese Monkey and Freeman for this title. But at this point in the season, it's really all on Freeman to make it happen, because Cheese Monkey's got a massive lead in the championship. And yeah, JR says double non-starter last week. Absolutely, with Freeman and Marty both missing out, it's really cost them in the title race. Those guys are really going to have to hope that Cheese Monkey has to miss a round between now and the end of the season, but I don't know if that's going to happen, really. I think that Cheese Monkey's got to be the nailed-on favourite for the GT4 title this season. Obviously, Cheese Monkey took the title last season, had a great season-long battle with Standard Control, which went all the way down to the wire, and Cheese Monkey ended up coming out on top in that one. And it looks as though, with 3 races left, including this one here, looks like he's going to be taking another championship. But Freeman, I'm sure, is going to want to keep it going all the way to the final race of the season. At this point in the race, Cheese Monkey's in a net 5th. So Freeman's in a good position. If he can keep doing what he's been doing over the course of this race, he should be able to come out in the lead and gain 19 or 20 points, actually, if he gets the, because he got pole position as well. So Freeman's swing would be 20 points in this one. It wouldn't be enough to take the title, but it would be more than enough to keep the title race going until the final round of the season, which will obviously be at Kyalami. as we see here the two drivers of Kodalungu and Cheese Monkey both coming into the pits at the same time. Cheese Monkey knows now he's got to get the work done in the pit box here. Flash the lights from him, trying to get into Cod's head a little bit, but Cheese Monkey knows this is his big opportunity to make hay while the sun shines here. Kodalungu pulls into his pit box. Cheese Monkey pulling wide of him here, as there we go. Kodalungu's now stopping in his garage. Cheese Monkey will be stopping in a moment's time. In fact, Cheese Monkey's garage is just behind Cod's. Here they stop now, so this is now going to be all on the pit crews here. What does Cheese Monkey do in this box? Can he get himself ahead of Kodalungu through these pit stops and release himself into some clean air? Cod's been holding Cheese Monkey for pretty much the last half of the race, so Cheese Monkey knows that now he's got to get this done here and now. If he doesn't, he's going to find himself in traffic for pretty much the whole race, I would feel, with the pace that Merc's got down the straights and the drive that Cod's getting out of the corners. We see Marty in the foreground there, just getting Marty, the man currently sat in the net P2, is just coming towards the end of the pit lane now. Where's Freeman? Freeman's just coming up towards the exit of the pits. Freeman will reassume the race lead here. There he is on the left hand side of your screen right now. Marty on the right. Freeman there, back up into the lead once again. Not a surprise there. He was leading before the pit stops. He comes out ahead of Marty. Marty around 3 seconds behind there in second place. But what is going on with these two, Cod and Cheese Monkey? Cod has maintained what is a net P4 ahead of Cheese Monkey. Quadeo still yet to pit. We're expecting Quadeo to filter into third place behind Freeman and Marty, but crucially for Cod, he has kept himself ahead of Cheese Monkey, and Freeman will be seeing that and will be breathing a sigh of relief there. Auto Butcher says check the Merc while it's in the pits to see if it's regulation width. No, I think that rear wing might be a little bit suspect, to be honest, Auto. I think that the stewards might want to have a little look at that, might want to get their little stencil thing, stick it between the rear wing and see if it can get through. I don't think it's going to fit through, to be fair. I think there's a problem. But Quadeo into the pits here at the end of lap 16 nonetheless. JR says, did Cheese touch it? Go on, Cod, says JR. Well, Kodalungu maintaining position ahead of Cheese Monkey, which is absolutely pivotal to Team Run DJC and to Freeman's hopes of the win. And you know what? I've just noticed this. That took me a while to clock onto there. Xander Flanders got ahead of them. Xander Flander has got ahead of Kodalungu and Cheese Monkey up into 4th place. That could be crucial here for Freeman. He's now got another driver in between himself and Cheese Monkey. So at this point in the race, at this stage, with it as it stands right now, Cheese Monkey would pick up 37 points, I think, for 6th, is it? 37? Yeah. 37 points for P6 in this race. It's always 37, I think, regardless of pole positions or whatever. So yeah, 37 points. Freeman would gain 24 points. The gap's 78 points coming into this. He'd cut it down to 54. That'd be a good showing there for Freeman, to be fair. I don't think he'd be too upset with that. I think he'd be pretty chuffed with that amount of points gained. But still a long way left to go in this race. But as it stands here in this one, with Cheese Monkey down in P6, Freeman would gain 25 points on Cheese Monkey, and the gap would come down to 53 points in the championship. So tensions running high here at Imola. What is going to happen over the course of the rest of this season? Cheese Monkey P6 isn't too bad for him at this point. He's still got this reasonably under control, but we know that Freeman has got a team of drivers who are going to be backing him to the hill all the way to the end of this season. Cheese Monkey really is out there on his own here in this GT4 championship, the reigning champion of the GT4 division. Took the title last season in what was his second season in the GT4. Was massive improvement from his first to second season. First season he was sort of like a mid-pack runner. I raced in the GT4s myself in the first season. It's the only series I've ever raced in on ACC, yeah, I was kind of like, me and him were kind of like similar pace, and I remember he was just like one of the drivers who was sort of like near the front but sort of in the mid-pack kind of thing, you know, sort of battling over 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th place, that sort of region, you know, towards the front, but you know, mid-pack, sort of front to mid-pack. Back then we always had full grids, you know, 17, 18, 19 or 20 cars out on the track, so yeah, no mean feat to be up there in those positions. But Cheese Monkey's progression from season 1 to season 2 for these GT4s was absolutely huge. Ended up being a championship contender last season, and as we said, took the championship. But right now, he's got it up against him here. He's dropped off the back of Codalungu since the pit window. So Codalungu seems to have got the hammer down ever so slightly. Freeman still leads this race by 5 seconds ahead of Marty Road Racing. A further 7 seconds to Cordeo, who's 12 seconds off for the race leader Freeman. Sanderfander's 15 seconds off of the race leader at the moment. And then you've got Codalungu and Cheese Monkey around 25 seconds behind Freeman at this point, as we're into the final stint here for the GT4s, round 10 of the season on ACC on the PlayStation 4 and 5 here at Motive. Freeman looking good to close the gap in the championship. With still plenty of opportunities for points here over the course of the rest of this season. John Jig in the comments says, saying internet bumped me over, disconnected. Obviously gutting there for you, mate. Shame to see that. Same thing happened to the Lazy Camel near enough at the same time as well. JR says be a mission for Cod to keep Cheese behind him for sure. But at the moment he's pulled out a bit of a gap to him and seems to be maintaining that gap for the time being as well. So Cod seems to be in control of that battle for 5th position. Snooky says go Xander Flander. Xander currently running in 4th place, only 4 seconds off of a podium spot. Not out of the question for him to close that gap down to Cordeo and possibly take a 3rd place here in this race. Could be on the cards for sure. Lazy Camel says go Xander, keep pushing. He's got to keep pushing there because it's not out of the question for him to get onto the podium. Freeman still leads the race by 5 seconds ahead of Marty Road Racing at this point. Cordeo still occupying that final podium position. Xander Flander in P4 at this point. It's got Codalungu 7.5 seconds behind him in 5th place. Cheese Monkey there in 6th, 2.5 seconds off at the back of Codalungu. Duke Martin in 7th, a long way behind the top 6, completely in a league of their own. 25 seconds separating the top 6. You've got almost that amount. You've got more than that back to the man in P7. So Duke Martin running in 7th place, but then he's got a big gap back to Nilsson as well, running in 8th place. King Quinn still going in 9th. You've got Pete Bibb Windsor still going along, but Pete Bibb not the night for him at all. Guitar Rich will be gutted with how tonight has gone. Watching this one on the live stream at this point. And Windsor still going in P11 at the moment. But it doesn't really seem to be in contention for a top 10 spot here in this race. Something makes me think that the Lazy Camel and John Jig are sat in the same building. I wonder what makes me think that. But Freeman's still leading this race. I didn't know that. Freeman and Marty still running in 1st and 2nd right now though. T-Run DJC 1-2 as it stands. Codalungu playing the team game here in this one. Has been holding Cheese Monkey up as much as he can over the course of this one. But Cordeo still occupying that final podium spot at the moment. Has got about 5 seconds back to Xander Flander at this point. But Freeman's still doing the business here in this one. Driving an absolutely excellent race and doing everything he can to try and bring that gap down to the championship leader, Cheese Monkey. That was a hiccup. Derby Bay in the comments saying looking forward to your commentating in the XL League tonight. Good to see you in the comments there, mate. Yep, I will be commentating on XL. 20 minutes left in this race, so it should end at about 26 past the hour. Literally as soon as this race is done. Well, no, it'll probably be done by about 28 past the hour. And then literally I'll wrap this up as soon as they've all crossed the line. I'll be jumping straight over to F1, so I should be there for pretty much 8:30 on the dot. And then it'll take me about 5 minutes to get everything up and running. I'll probably go grab a drink and stuff, and then we should get like the last 10 minutes of quali. Fingers crossed we'll get the last 10 minutes of quali for that. But yeah, looking forward to XL. What a race we had on Monday night for the Realistic League, and looking forward to covering that pretty shortly. Lazy Camel says great run in. Xander bringing the gap down to a podium. Yeah, he is, isn't he? Look at this. Zander van der absolutely flying at the moment. But last couple of laps, though, Cordeo's managed to put out a bit to him here. Cordeo's definitely responded to that pressure from Zander van der. The gap's almost at 6 seconds. It was down at 4, so Cordeo also lapping pretty well at the moment. And the top 6 kind of just pulling away from each other. Freeman pulling away from Marty. Marty's extending the gap to Cordeo. Cordeo responding to the pace of Zander. Codalunga and Cheese Monkey falling off at a pace a little bit. So it looks like we're all kind of in the positions that we should really be in at this point, to be fair. Comments still coming in thick and fast. We've got Laser Camel says, at least I can grab a beer and enjoy the rest of the race. you can grab a beer and drive. Laser Camel, it's no problem. We're not going to breathalyze you, don't worry. Not unless you cause an incident, in which case we might slap you with a points penalty and who knows, potentially more. But Darby Bay in the comments says, you're a hero, thank you. That was great. Joe Ram is joining us in the Williams on Monday. Hey, that's going to be an exciting one. Joe Ram in a Williams, that'd be quite the prospect actually to see that. Because he's a man who's probably quite used to winning so far this season. He's always, basically, he's won nearly all of the last few races. So yeah, be very excited to see Joe Ram racing in a Williams for sure. He was obviously commenting on the stream on Monday nights, was getting pretty excited over the action, so yeah, that will be an interesting one. Didi's putting a beers emoji there in the comments. Scooter Paul says, what is the difference between your two F1 leagues? So basically, Paul, on a Friday night you've got the Motive F1 league, which is officially Motive's own F1 league on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. And then you've got the XL leagues, which are, there are two different XL leagues. One is the OG league, which is just a normal F1 league. It's, as you can probably guess, their original league, which is like equal performance cars, runs on a Wednesday and Sunday. It's a 2-day-a-week league, so they run on Wednesday and Sunday. They'll have one round on a Wednesday, and then the next round will be on a Sunday, and then repeat the process. And then they have 2021 spec performance. You've got the Mercedes and the Red Bull, the fastest cars, followed by the McLaren and the Ferrari, so on and so forth, yada yada yada. And there are two different leagues, but there are 3 different nights that they run on. And obviously you've also got the Motive League as well on a Friday. So the XL League, I do 2 commentaries a night on the XL League. I commentate the OG League on a Wednesday. I can't do the Sunday. I did originally try to do the Sunday, but it's just, the schedule's too hectic. I do comms on ACC GT3s on Sunday. I also do the GTE on Project Cars for Motive as well. I found that it was too much squeezing all 3 into the schedule on a Sunday night. So I commentate on the XL OG League on a Wednesday, and I also do the comms for their Realistic League on a Monday. So those you can obviously join. And in terms of Motive's F1 League, we run on a Friday night for that one, 6:45 PM UK time every Friday night. So that's one, if anybody knows anyone who wants to get involved in some action on F1 on the Codemasters Formula 1 game, then definitely check that out and get involved. Either in Motive or XL, equally good leagues. I do the comms on both. They both stream to this channel, to the Motive Racing channel. But obviously the ones that run on Monday and Wednesday are not Motive's own leagues. We kind of like collaborate with XL. We stream it. So you know, we get the we give them the platform. They give us the views, type of thing. You know what I mean? You know, it's like a, you know, it works well. It's a good little collaboration, and obviously they're a good bunch of drivers as well. Always some good action on XL. Always enjoy watching and commentating. If anybody who's a Motive racing fan wants to check that out, wants to have a look at that, then be sure to check that out. It'll be coming up straight after this stream in the GT4s. I will literally be jumping straight off onto F1 after this. Lazy Camel says, I never drink and drive, but you might catch me floating on Valium. You've got to love a bit of diazepam, haven't you? Never ends well. Never ends well, I've got to say. Never ends well. But I'm not the worst person that I know for it. There's one other person I know who's like 10 times worse with it, but whenever I've whenever I've gone on a diazepam binge, it's never gone well. But there's one other person that I know who's considerably worse than me, But Freeman, 8.5 seconds is his gap at the moment over Marty Road Racing. Marty's got a further 9 seconds back to Cordero at this point. Xander Flanders running in fourth. Has got Codalungu closing in a little bit on him now. Codalungu seems to have picked up the pace over these last couple of laps. Cheese Monkey's dropping off the pace considerably, down in P6, so it's not been the night for the reigning champion and championship leader in any way, shape or form. Duke Martin's still going. Nilsson's really reeling in Kingquin in the latter stages of this race. Only just over a second between these two, so Nilsson could be sniffing out an 8th place finish here in this one. That is going to be one to watch as we're into the final quarter of the race. I actually love the comments tonight, to be fair. The comments section has been buzzing, and you guys have literally been keeping me like in such good spirits throughout the course of this stream. Like, it's kept me entertained. You know, when there hasn't been action on, I've just been able to talk an absolute load of rubbish in the comments with you guys about the most weirdest topics, but I do love it. Thanks to all of you guys, to Lazy Camel, Paul, Dee, Darby, JR, Snooky, Racky, John Jig, Guitar Rich, Scooter Paul, Auto Butcher as well. You guys, absolute legends, keeping me occupied, keeping me talking about something other than just the action out on track tonight. Massively appreciated to all of you guys. JR says, to be fair to Cheese, all he needs to do is bring it home. Pretty much. JR says, you're welcome. Cheers. But yeah, Cheese Monkey just needs to, basically he can finish in 7th. I've worked it out. He can finish in 7th. No, hold on. No, that's a lie. He can finish in P6 in every race from here to the end of the season, and he'd still win the championship regardless of what Freeman does. Freeman could win and take the fastest lap this round, the next one and the one after, and Cheese Monkey could still come in P6 in all of those races and still win the championship. That's how much of a lead he's got. So Freeman's just got to drive his socks off and hope and pray that Cheese Monkey has an absolute shocker. But at the moment, Freeman looks like he's in control as he's flashing his lights here. He's just coming up on some back markers. Who's this that he's just coming up on? I think it might be... It's not Kingquin, it's Nilsson. So Nilsson's dropped a little bit off of Kingquin over the course of the last couple of laps, and it's now got Freeman looking at the inside of him. Is he going to let off and let him through coming up into the hairpin? Doesn't look like it. Nilsson at the moment still just had no, he lets him pass there on the inside. So Freeman there moves himself up into clean air ahead of Nilsson. Nicely done there from Nilsson. David Snook says, would not work without you, pal. Awesome comms, first time meeting. Nan tonight. Cheers. Nightbait says, looking good for the DJC crew, best in the business. Racky says, it works both ways, Andy. Thanks for making our racing more fun. Yeah, no worries, man. Love it. Always enjoy it. Cannot underestimate Cod's work tonight. Yeah, he's absolutely played a blinder. And he's had so much pace tonight, to be fair. He's completely thrown his own race down the pan in order to prevent Cheese Monkey from being able to score good points. And he's absolutely given Freeman that beeline to be able to gain more points on Cheese Monkey. So Codlingy's contribution tonight cannot go underestimated. It really has made the difference. Lazy Camel says, I think those Genettas have a huge disadvantage on this track. It's such a fast track and the BMWs are dominating, and the Merc, to be fair as well, is pretty strong. But yeah, the BMWs, the full package around here. And I said it in the qualifying session and practice as well. I said it was looking very much like it wasn't going to be a Ginetta track tonight. So very much a power circuit is Imola, and there isn't really too much redemption for the Ginetta over the course of it. You've got corners like this which is decent round, but even then the BMW's got such good traction, and it's just a package. The BMW is just so suited to this track. Ginetta's just got no answer to it really. As Nightbot says, if you like what we do, please support us on Patreon. You can do if you want. It's not mandatory. You don't have to. I'm not going to force you if you don't want to. But if you want to help us pay for the servers, we're looking to add a couple of new leagues actually. Big news, big flashpoints. Put up a little vote on the Discord the other day asking the drivers on ACC at Motive what they want to see leagues run on, or what days they want to see new leagues run on. Friday and Saturday seem to be the big choice for drivers as to what they wanted to run in terms of new leagues for ACC. So we'll be looking to add a couple of new leagues on those days. It's going to be basically we're going to pick 2 out of a possible 5. So those 5 that we're narrowing it down to, it's going to be Porsche Cup, Super Trofeo, GT3 Sprint Cup, which would be like a two 30-minute races rather than a 1 hour race, a GT4 Sprint Cup, which is the same as the GT3 Cup, or potentially a GT4 Ginetta Cup. GT4 Ginetta Cup will probably leave Cheese Monkey and Xanafanda with a huge advantage over everyone, but it'd be an interesting one to have. I think that would be a good series, to be fair. Super Trofeo we've done Porsche Super Cup before, but we're doing it on a Monday night when I think maybe there wasn't as much popularity because there's less people on a Monday night. It was overwhelmingly so that the vote leaned towards Friday and Saturday for the potential for new leagues on ACC, so that just goes to show how much of a bogey night Monday night really was. So yeah, but we'll see anyway. I mean, whatever people want to vote for, they will be the 5 options though, and obviously the top 2 from each of those will be the leagues that we run on Friday and Saturday nights. And we'll probably be running, well, it'd be a bit of a squeeze to squeeze it all in, but I'm sure we've managed to find the time in our schedule somewhere. Probably have to run it on. Probably have to run it like probably have to run one at the same time as another league, but we'll have to figure that out anyway. We'll get to the bottom of that, but Friday and Saturday night definitely seem to be the overwhelming choices. But we've got comments here from Lightblade saying, what's the point standing at? The point standings in terms of Cheese Monkey and Freeman, 78 points is the gap as it stands so far in this race though. Cheese Monkey would lose a few points to Freeman, as we see here. Kodalungu looking around Xanafanda here. Sorry, not Kodalungu. Yeah, Xanafanda looking like he's been passed there by Kodalungu up the inside around the final 2 left-handers there. So Kodalungu up into 4th place ahead of Xanafanda. Nicely done there from Cod. But Lightblade says, what's this point standing? 78 points is the gap, Lightblade, between Cheese Monkey and Freeman. Freeman's going to take 24 points out of Cheese Monkey's lead tonight, so that gap will be 54 points going into the final 2 rounds of the season. As long as the gap's under 61 points going into the final race, it will go down to a decider. So yeah, that one is definitely one that we want to see. We want to see a decider. We want to see it go down to the wire. We want to see the title on the line going into the final round of the season. Didi says, Andy, always nice to watch these. Well, it's a pleasure to be able to bring you this, guys. It's always my pleasure to provide some comms on the races and give you guys something to watch afterwards. And indeed, there's a lot of people watching this live tonight, which is awesome, because I've said it before, I think most of the views come from the drivers sharing it with their friends and family and whatnot, and watching it back, you know, probably 2 or 3 times throughout the week. But you know, we're actually getting quite a lot of people watching live tonight, and I love that. You know, it's really cool that you've got friends of the drivers chiming in, drivers who race with us throughout the week actually checking it out whilst we're racing. And it's great that we've got so many people commenting tonight as well. JR says 50 points to Cheese if it stays like this. Yeah, 50 points. You get 37 points, I think it is, for 6th, is it? Let me have a look. Let me have a look. 1 sec. I don't even know. How bad is that? Yeah, 37 points for 6th. So he gained 24 points, so it'd be 54 points going into the next round. But I can't see Cheese finishing lower than 6th at any of the remaining races. And as I said before, if he finished P6 at every race, he's got the championship no matter what. So he needs to have a really major slip between now and the end of the season. But Freeman's doing everything he has to do at the moment. The Lazy Camel says, big respect to Cod. He was running fast in practice during the week. Always looked like he was going to be strong here tonight. Lightblade opting for the Ginetta Cup. That's the one he wants to see coming up next season. Either on a Friday or Saturday night, that would most likely be. 2-time Robbings Racing Ginetta GT5 champ right here. Be well up for that. Lightblade, you know what? You won those 2 championships after I'd left. That was after I told the Robbings Racing moderators, in inverted commas, where to go and where to stick it, and ended up making Motive. But it was after that, I'm pretty sure you won those 2 championships in the GT5s, and obviously we all know what happened after that. It all went down the pan, and they made another league, which I believe is, no, I'm not going to go into that, but anyway. Raki says, boohoo, my Monday race night, have to reschedule. Oh mate, we'd love to see you on a Friday or Saturday night, mate. If you can call the favours in and shift things around a little bit, we'd love to see you on a Friday or Saturday night for sure. Would love to participate in a full lobby again. I'd love to commentate on a full lobby again. You know, that's what I live and breathe for, is to watch some packed out grids and some close racing. Didi says I miss my Porsche Cup. Light blade. That made him chuckle. But Xander Vander's currently only 4 seconds at a Cheese Monkey. Cheese Monkey could potentially finish P5 in this race. Xander Vander's really dropping off the pace in the closing laps of this one. Codalungu, having got ahead of Xander Vander a couple of laps ago, has already pulled out over a 2-second gap to him. Freeman's got a 10-second lead over Marty Road Racing. And there's Quideo just coming up towards the line. He's got 10 seconds back to Codalungu running in 4th. So Quideo looks like he's got this podium pretty much nailed on here. Cheese Monkey gained 3/10 on Xander Vander on that last sector there, but I think it's going to be too little too late for Cheese Monkey to bring himself into that battle for P5. I think Xander Vander's going to just have enough, but you can see him in the foreground there, coming through the second part of the Villeneuve chicane, so that gap's coming down as we speak. Who knows, maybe there could be a bit of teamwork going on between the two Ginettas here. But at the moment, Xander Vander looks like he's just about out of arm's reach of Cheese Monkey, but anything can happen in the final couple of laps here. Freeman still leads at the moment. It's got that 10-second gap to Marty Road Racing as we speak. Can't see Freeman losing this from here. Lightblade says, you're the best in the business with your comms. Your passion is obvious, my friend. Profit to be a motor driver. It's a pleasure to be able to commentate on the races. I just ideally just want full grids and the best racing. And when I've got that, it makes my job easy. It makes it easy to be enthusiastic and passionate when you've got good racing in front of you. So Xander Vander took another 10th out of Codalungu coming to the middle sector there, but I think it's going to be too little too late, as we've said. Cheese Monkey though absolutely gaining like no one's business here on Xander Vander. I think Xander might have backed off a little bit on this last couple of laps here. Maybe he is going to give Cheese Monkey that P5. I don't know what the plan is here with these two Ginettas. Maybe he's just had a difficult last couple of laps, but at this point Cheese Monkey really starting to gain by quite a bit. The Lazy Camel says, and his comms are the best. Cheers mate. Thank you. Legends. Water in my ego. No, nothing can do that. But Freeman currently out the front 13 seconds at the moment is his gap over Marty Road Racing. Marty continuing to plug away, but Freeman's definitely opened up the gap a little bit more over these last 2 laps or so. Xander Vander continues to drop off of Codalungu a little bit. He's still got that 2-second gap over... Well, Codalungu's still got that... oh no, hold on. Yeah, no, he's still... Sorry, Xander Vander's still got that 2-second gap over Cheese Monkey. He's fallen off the back of Codalungu a little bit now. So Codalungu's pulling away from Xander Vander. Xander Vander's got a drive-through penalty. Xander Vander has got a drive-through penalty for track limits with just under 2 laps left to go. That has just put a spanner in the works for his P5 and is going to give 5th place to Cheese Monkey here. So that gives Cheese Monkey an extra couple of points here in his championship fight. That could be absolutely crucial for Cheese Monkey now. As we said before, can finish P6 in every race from here to the end of the season. He's going to be gifted a P5 here due to Xander Vander's drive-through penalty. That's the last thing that Freeman wanted to see there, but Xander Vander will lose this 5th place to Cheese Monkey before we get to the end of the race. Lightblade says when he gets the hiccups. do love a bit of hiccuping. I haven't hiccuped once tonight. I think I've had plenty of water. When I'm hydrated sufficiently, I don't hiccup, but it's usually when I've been working all day in the morning and then go and have a nap in the afternoon, wake up, have a coffee by my bedside table, wake up at like 5-6 o'clock in the evening, literally just down a cup of coffee, jump straight on the PlayStation. They're the times when I'm hiccuping left, right and centre and sound like I can barely talk. Tonight I've just been relaxing all day, chilling out, and as such hiccups have not presented themselves. But at the moment, Freeman on the final lap of the race, he's coming out of the left-hand hairpin at the end of the first sector for the final time. What a drive it's been for Freeman. It's done everything he could have been asked of him over the course of tonight. Got pole position in the qualifying session by almost 0.2 of a second over Codalungu. Codalungu has played the team game and has backed Cheese Monkey up into the pack. Managed to get Xander Vander ahead of Cheese Monkey. Cod then raced his own race in this final stint, started to close the gap to Cordero, but it's going to be too little too late. He's not going to be on the podium. He's not going to be able to make it a team run DJC 1-2-3, but still a 1-2 for Freeman and Marty, with Cordero completing that podium. Scuderia Paul says hiccups like Gary Lineker on Match of the Day. 100%, mate, 100%. No, Xander, says the Lazy Camel. He's gutted there to see Xanafana dropping down to P6 due to that drive-through penalty. JR says, let's go Freeman, bro. Freeman down the hill, got this double left-hander hairpin before he comes out onto the start finish straight. Down the hill we come. What a drive it has been from Freeman. He will gain 20 points on his championship rival Cheese Monkey. The gap will go from 78 down to 58, and if he can gain more points next week, then he can keep the championship going all the way to a decider in the final round at Kyle Army. Freeman takes the checker flag. A flash of lights from the number 82 BMW. What a race it's been from Freeman. He's been absolutely flawless tonight. Another dominant display of driving, similar to what we saw at Silverstone a couple of weeks ago. And Freeman looking on song here. What a shame he couldn't make it last week, but he's done everything he could have been asked of him tonight. Marty takes second place there for Team Run DJC. It's a Team Run DJC 1-2, which I'm sure Lightblade's going to be pretty chuffed with. Great job from those boys in the BMWs. It's going to be a BMW 1-2-3, with Cordero coming over to take the final podium spot. A flash of lights from him as he was about to put a lap there on Windsor, but Windsor just about managed to stay ahead of him there coming up towards the line. Windsor actually crosses the line as he was already a lap down. King Quinn and Pete Bibb have both already finished the race as well. Codlungu comes over in 4th place. A solid result for him. He played the team game there and kept Cheese Monkey out of the picture. Cheese Monkey, the championship leader, takes P5. Nilsson comes over in 10th place. He's finished the race, but Cheese Monkey there has still got a 58 point lead in the championship over Freeman, which he'll be pretty happy about. Xander Flander coming out onto the start finish straight now. It's going to finish this race in 6th by the looks of it. He's just coming out of the final corner out onto the start finish straight, but 6th place for Xander Flander due to that drive-through penalty. Dropped him out a little bit of the equation as he does a little bit of weaving up towards the line, but a P6 nonetheless, not too bad for Xander Flander. Some good points there in the bag for sure, as he bins it into the wall over the line. Duke Martin is going to come in towards the final part of the lap, and he'll be the last driver to finish this race. A P7 here for Duke Martin, the last driver on the lead lap. King Quinn, Pete Bibb, Nilsson and Windsor all finishing the lap down, but Duke Martin coming up towards the line to finish the race in the number 6 Aston Martin. A good drive from Duke Martin, and some very, very good points here for his championship campaign. Over the line he comes to finish the race. There he is. So that is that then, ladies and gentlemen, for round 10 of the GT4s here on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 at Motive. GG Freeman, says Lightblade. Well done, boys, says JR. GG Freeman also echoing the sentiments of Lightblade there, as Didi actually commented before him there. Lightblade saying Cheese Monkey's a crafty racer in that Ginetta. He's got the car sorted. He really has. He's got it absolutely nailed down. JR says he's super proud of all the lads. Driven great here tonight. Top chop on comms. Big love to Nana. JR says, oh, cheers, man. Yeah, she was absolutely chuffed to hear all the comments coming in. She you couldn't really tell by her voice, but her face lit up when she heard the comments coming in. Very nice of you guys. Congratulations Freeman, perfect driving, says the Lazy Camel. Then the commentary in the chat was the best part tonight, as the field got very spread out, unfortunately. Yeah, the racing wasn't too great, but there was action in the first part of the race. The first part was electric, and then the second stint was just a little bit dry. But David Snooky says, no Xander, so sorry for you. The great team race from COD, great run for Marty, great race, great comms. Cheers, mate. Well done, Windsor to the end. Flawless drive from Freeman 82, says Scuderia Paul. Couldn't agree more with that. Well done all. Chat 2 was fun. Thank you, Raki. Lazy Camel says, top comms, thanks for making up for a bad race for me. No worries, man. Bye guys. Scuderia Paul, see you later. See you, mate. Didi says bye bye. Nilsson chiming in there. P10 for Nilsson, so not too bad of a result there. 30 people watching the stream, guys. If you haven't already dropped a like, please do so, as it really helps us out. Got to go jump on F1 now and do the XL commentary. Guitar says night, Andy and Nana. Good night. See you soon, guys. See you in the next one. Have a great evening, folks. Bye bye.